If you are a single man and you are asking what the hell is wrong with dating, what the hell is wrong with women, well, I have a great answer for you. And the entire answer is in this little video. Now, I didn't know who this girl is. Apparently, she's famous. As a matter of fact, it looks like she picked a fight with Matt Rife, which actually makes it even more delicious. But I'm going to give you a spoiler alert right away. No matter how undateable American and Western women are, and they are to the point where men like me leave our countries that we've known and loved, not lately really, but still, and move to other countries where some women are still acceptable at the very least. Marriage material, wife material, submissive and traditional, have family values and feminine and all those things, right? We literally have to leave. And I don't mean our cities or our states, I mean the entire countries. And that's what I have done. And my life has never been better. And it was already pretty good. So the spoiler alert is this: no matter how undateable and awful at their only jobs they are, the problem is not them. They're just doing whatever is just kind of like allowed nowadays. The problem is men. The majority of men in America are, and I'm going to use the word that we just had to create very recently to describe what American and Western women have mutated as male species, because it's hard to call a lot of them men. So the word is simps, right? And a very basic definition of it is literally right in the word simp. Suckers, forgot it for a second. Suckers idolizing mediocre pussy, and that's what they are really. And even when they come here to Thailand, they don't realize they don't have to do this anymore. Before I play this video, let me tell you a quick story where I just bumped into a friend 2 days ago at a coffee shop that I hang out at, and I told him that my other friend who lived here for 10 years and speaks pretty good Thai, so he has access to all of the Thai women, not just tiny little essentially worst quality part that speak English here. And I said, that guy who has access to, he even told me that he feels that in the last year, even here in Thailand, the dating has become harder. Less quality women, more of them are acting, more Western. But my friend who also came here as a passport bro said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I've been swimming in it, right? And now, so this guy is actually in his 50s and he's retired and he's got a lot of time and decent money on his hands, like pretty much most of us do. And he, in terms of money, I never want to retire. Actually, I want to work for the rest of my life. My father was just his birthday the other day. He's 96 years old and he still works. So I want to be like him when I grow up. And so uh, I said, and by the way, so this guy has a main girlfriend, right? The girl that he's dating seriously, but he doesn't see her all the time. And he's dating other women, like because I think she's in her late 30s, but he's dating women who are in her like early 20s, and just for fun. And she knows, by the way, this is not uncommon here. There are guys with two wives or two, three girlfriends. So that's another perk here where, non-monogamy is not a thing. I mean, sorry, non-monogamy is a thing. It's not a big deal for a lot of women. That's just how it is. And I started asking him. I said, well, like he's like, well, I just met this one girl, and she is, I think she's like 19, and we're talking, for a couple of weeks. I'm like, wait a second, what do you mean you're talking for a couple of weeks? What the hell? Why? He said, well, she's really beautiful. I said, yeah, 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 but like, what's happening? He's like, well, we've been talking for a couple of weeks. I've been saying good morning and good night every day. And then she finally replied to me. I'm like, wait a second. You matched with this girl and you said good morning. She ignored you. Then you said good night. She ignored you again. And you did that for 2 weeks until she decided that you're up on the list of all the dudes she's been talking to. And now you just talking. That's it. That's the result of your, wow, I don't have problems dating. To me, this like is the definition. It's like, well, but I have nothing but time on my hands and whatever. And I was like, wow. So this guy who, is here as a passport bro cannot help himself but to simp, right? Just cannot help himself. And even when someone's sitting in front of him, he knows exactly, he's seen my videos, he knows what I'm all about. Even when he sees someone like me, sitting in front of him, he still fully admits that the only way he gets women is by simping. And it's here in Thailand where he doesn't have to. So that problem is that now, but this, I mean, this is wow. Now, just so you know, she is married to a very rich guy, like fucking very rich guy, right? Where you take helicopters to a party and not a car or a limo, or, you know what I mean? And now she's, I'm not into white girls. But even I can tell that she's pretty decent looking, right? Definitely up there. Probably even in the category of a trophy wife, which essentially she is. And, we'll discuss that. Do I think she's like, wow, gorgeous? Yes, I understand why this guy. No, no, she's just very pretty. But she's like, listen, let me know in the comment section or in the live chat if you're watching me live if you think she is, you know, top of the line. But regardless of that, essentially, she lives a very rich lifestyle. She's been married to her husband, and I think they have a couple of kids. It's actually one of her little shits, her kids who are gonna grow up little brats, picked a fight on the internet with Matt Rife. Like, that's how great of a mother she is. Okay, so let's get to this video, and I have a couple of other quick videos for you to watch. But let's get to this.
My biggest contribution to society is that I am proof that you can be loud, annoying, crazy. I don't clean, I don't cook, I don't do any of the housewifey things, and still have a man who is successful, dotes on me, loves every single little inch of me, and you don't need to be submissive.
Right. So that's a lot to unpack. And she is right. I mean, I hated what she said, but she is right. You can be that useless as a woman and a housewife, right? And really, like, housewife, I use that term loosely, right? She obviously says she doesn't do shit as a housewife, right? It's not raising her kids for sure. She's got nannies, she's got, whatever, right? These people don't really raise their kids. Like, so she can be completely useless. And as long as she looks like a trophy wife, right? And so, I mean, this is a billionaire guy, right? Like, but for an average guy, or even a millionaire guy, right? Barely any money. it- you know, it's the ugly women or very average looking women who do this. I know some of my friends do that. Some of my friends, they're pretty successful and they're not ugly, and they have wives like this. They don't look like this, but they have wives who are completely fucking useless. Now, this one actually preaches to, she has a big following, right? And it's majority of women who follow her like goddess because they want to be like her, right? They want to be essentially a subscription prostitute, right? Let's be very real what this is. And it's an inspiration to modern women to be like her. Not everybody can, right? Because a lot of them think that they're princesses, think that they're really good looking, but they're not. But this one, actually uh, is decent looking enough to actually be able to get a lot of men, right? But think about it. Like just her job as a wife of this guy is literally do nothing, right? And then humiliate him on social media. This is humiliating. You understand that basically your wife is saying, listen, I don't have to do shit for my husband. I am a horrible wife, and this sucker is still essentially gives me everything I want and loves me for who the fuck I am, which is a horrible person on top of being a horrible wife if you watch her other videos. So she just goes out knowing that, it's not like her, 7 followers are like I have are going to watch, right? Hundreds of thousands of women, if not millions of women and people are going to watch and know that she's just openly saying that I am a subscription prostitute. My sucker of a husband gets nothing from me that I should be giving him, and yet he gives me everything in return. And then she says, this is my biggest contribution to the society. And you know what? She's right again. First of all, yes, it is her biggest. I mean, she doesn't contribute in any other way, like not like a mother or wife, obviously. So that's an easy one. But it is contributing negatively to the society because she is one of the successful prostitutes, right? She did really well for herself. This is as successful as a prostitute you can essentially be, right? So she's done well, but majority of the women are not able to reproduce this. They're not pretty enough, they're not maybe smart enough, they're not even lucky enough. So it is everything that she said is true, and it's essentially she humiliates her husband on a regular basis. How else she does it? Well, she parades borderline naked also in many of her, in some of her. You got that? Do you have any reservations about like what she looks like naked? Pretty much all of us know exactly what she looks like naked, right? And she does that um because why not? So here she is, a useless wife who's using her husband for money, essentially doesn't do anything for him, humiliates him by telling everybody about it, and then also parades around naked for other men to look and drool over, right? And yet this man is perfectly fine with it. I mean, he may not be fine with it, but let me take a quick comment from Mr. R from the comments. He said, I don't want to shame her, but she's super plain and flat as paper, but I digress. Okay, all right, listen, like I said, I'm not a fan just generally of white women. I've dated pretty much either black or Asian women for most of my life. I'm in Asia now. I just went to Africa. So, I have not communicated with white women on a romantic level for over 2 years now. And I plan on keeping that way. But listen, we gotta, I mean, she is pretty attractive to most guys who are into white women, right? Uh, he says, I hope he has a prenuptial agreement, but my money owes on. No, no, of course not. I mean, come on. And yeah, there's just no way. If anybody really knows much about her, let me know. But I strongly doubt that there is a prenup because if you're a sucker, right? If you're a sucker, you're gonna and you're willing to part with your money for a woman, and a lot of money, right? It was there from the very beginning. By the way, would you like to see him? Because I did find a picture of him. He's not that ugly of a guy, right? So here we go. This is him. He's not that ugly, which only brings me to the bigger point, right? A guy can be a decent looking guy and have tons and tons of money and therefore tons and tons of choices, right? But if you have low self-esteem, which I absolutely guarantee he does, even with all of this money, right? If you have no self-respect, which again, for a rich guy, for somebody who does a lot of business, right, with other rich dudes, which is if you have no, and most likely if you brought up by a single mother or a simp father, it is just already engraved in you. This probably will be there will be therapists in the future that specialize in simps, how to unsimp a man. Now, I have tried, by the way, I'm not a therapist, but I have tried because some guys reach out to me and ask, can you mentor me through my journey moving to Thailand or Southeast Asia? And I said, sure, great. And they show up as such simps, just like the friend of mine that I told you about, that you cannot undo it. You just cannot undo it, right? So now, in his case, he has a little bit more of a case than like he's a, essentially, regardless of his money, he's a loser with no self-respect and a simp. You know, she, like I said, she's good looking enough to be a trophy wife, and that is probably a relatively decent excuse of saying, listen, I want to show up to all of my other rich fuck friends events with a gorgeous girl in my hand, and the girls that would qualify as wives are no longer gorgeous. Like you used to be able to get a gorgeous girl if you're a really good guy, who would actually love you for who you are. That thing is over. Okay, that ship has sailed. So he says, but I still want one, right? So I'm gonna buy one. And I don't mind everybody saying, yeah, he bought one. Just like when a guy drives in a Rolls Royce or Ferrari, right? It's not like he made the car himself. He just wants everybody to say, listen, I have so much fucking money that I can buy a car for $3 million, right? This is exactly the same thing. This is an accessory, right? Trophy wife is an accessory. And you say, look what I was able to buy. None of you fuckers were able to do it, but I was able to do it. And that's why he actually doesn't mind everybody knowing what she looks like naked. Because if the point is to brag, then you want everybody to see, the goodies, right? You want to open the hood and rev the engine to show. So when you have hired a prostitute and a prostitute and you want to show her off, you absolutely want to parade her around without any clothes on. So that makes sense. Now, most likely, you know he's cheating on her. She probably is cheating on him. There wouldn't be a surprise. Would anybody be really that surprised if that turned out to be the case? No, because there are probably women in his life who actually are good women, and actually give him real attention or whatever. Because obviously she is not giving him anything, right? Again, she's just trophy wife. But how does this translate into a real life? Because a lot of you, no matter, like, I've known some guys who are multimillionaires, and even when they come here and even when they buy their wives here, those wives are yes, they don't cook, they don't clean, but they're also not very good looking, you know uh you know so it does not, like, that, like, he will out simp all of you motherfuckers, right? You will end up still with very average looking girls that you won't even be able to brag about if you want to brag about them, right? So Mr. R says she's got a little bit of a booty, but I actually didn't see it, but okay. But do not want to hit it. I would need a lot of tequila. All right. He just looks like a normal nice dude. Yeah, too nice. And he says, damn, she can't even drive. Yeah, that, by the way, that's she can drive, probably. She doesn't want to, right? Because of why? If you have a simp like this, you don't have to do shit. I mean, she's not even raising her kids or cooking, like, she's literally as useless of a wife as it can be. And yet she's rewarded the most of most women for it, right? This is why I'm trying to tell you guys that the problem is not her. She's just taking advantage of the situation, just like most people would. You know what I mean? Just the other day, I saw this video and I wasn't even sure if it's true, but the guy started going, like, he's going through his really big house, right? Like, definitely multi-million dollar house. He's like, listen, I love feminism. I love feminism, has done so good for me because I married this really rich chick and now I divorced her. I got half of her money. Look at my huge house. I don't even know half of the shit that how it works here. Look at all of my Lamborghinis and other cars that I got off of her because all I had to do was fuck a girl that's like 20 years older than me. And look at my life now, right? Like, again, I don't know if he is kidding or not, but the whole point is that when that happens, the useless partners that the rich people get rich. I mean, Jeff Bezos' wife, right? Including the current one. The Jeff Bezos' wife, it does not even look like this, right? And she's gonna get so much more money than this girl will ever will. So it is definitely hilarious. But listen, we're here to learn, right? So when you guys simp on daily basis with these American women, uh, you're not getting much in return, right? You're not getting wives. You're not even getting good looking women. So why the fuck do you do that? Why? And why are you still in America? Why are you still in America? It just blows my mind. But let's not forget about this video. We're only halfway through.
Men are supposed to be submissive.
Okay, now she's saying something that is just so ridiculous you would almost want to brush it off. She says, I don't have to be submissive. Men are supposed to be submissive. Now, obviously, any psychologist, any, it's absurd, but this is what women are convinced of. And they've convinced men. They've convinced American men. Most of you are submissive. Most of, and by definition, a simp is a submissive male. Again, I don't like using that term because simps are not really men per se. They identify as men, but they're not men. And so, yes, majority of men are submissive, and I see it all the time. All of my friends, almost all of my male friends, are submissive to women. They're almost all of them are simps, and I see it all the time. And listen, guys, at some point we're just gonna, if you cannot complain about how shitty women are if you are a simp. You know, also start confronting simps. If you're not a simp, start. I do that. I did it quite harshly the other day, and like I said, I almost got punched in the face. But you can do it, you know, like I did with my friend. I just like when he told me that he was just saying good morning and good night to this one girl over and over and over again until she finally responded to him, which also means she wants a simp, and he's a simp, and she wants a simp, and it's just going to be a disaster, right? Um, I just said, oh man, like I said, you got too much time on your hands. I don't know, man. It just sounds like you were number 100 something in that queue. Are you okay with that? Right. So I kind of said it jokingly and kind of, but not really jokingly. And he was like, well, yeah, man, I just got nothing but time on my hand. I was like, that is not a good reason. If you don't have nothing but time on your hand, why would you spend that time simping? You can spend that time not simping, and so confront, if you see simps, which I know are everywhere. We got to start confronting them, right? Because otherwise we just can't complain.
We've got this all wrong. This new narrative of like modesty. And if you want to be modest, that's fine.
This is not a new narrative. This is the old narrative. This might be a new narrative soon, once men realize that these are useless human beings and wives and just stop paying attention, like we here. Like, guys, it's amazing what's happening here. There are plenty of good looking women here. There are Western women, and they're all single, and they all get ignored. There are literally Reddit and Facebook group posts of these women saying, like, I was a hot chick in America or whatever. I used to show up to the bar and everybody would be drive by me drink. I had always millions of guys. Attention was given to me at all fucking times, attention and money. But I come here to Thailand and nobody, I'm an invisible. I sometimes have to look at the mirror and go like, did I have plastic surgery and now he's a like ugly person? And the answer is you didn't have a plastic surgery and you are an ugly person to us. To men who have a choice, I see a lot of men choosing average looking Thai women here because of how amazing they are as wives, rather than really good looking white girls who are just awful, awful wives. This is why, again, I believe you guys have really no fucking choice but to get the fuck out of there, right? So this is not a new thing. This is an old thing that's no longer around. Mr. R says in a chat, I honestly do not see why men get married and do not see why rich men have sex without. I agree to have sex with your signature. Yeah, I mean, the consent is a thing, but like I said, this is another thing that I don't want to be in America. Like, consent is not even consent anymore there, right? And here, consent is consent. Uh, yeah, I don't listen. I don't understand why men get married. I really don't. It's stupid, right? It's just stupid. Um, he says Shannon Sharpie. I don't know who that is. Just paid 23 million for JJ that was consensual sex. The game is getting worse somehow. I don't know who that is, but yeah, no, this is one of my biggest problems as a men's rights activist. That this law that consent is no longer consent is bullshit. You now have to be a fucking law school graduate to figure out if a woman you met her, already was under the influence of alcohol, if she crossed that line of consent, if she slurs her words because she's just a fucking Southern California South Cal girl, or because she had too much to drink, and you don't know what to compare it to because you've never met her sober, and all of a sudden you can go to jail for what, for many years, even though she gave you consent, right? That fucking stupid law that for some reason we passed, even though the majority of people in charge are still men, is beyond me. I don't want to live in that country where I can be, the R word without being the R word. So just that alone should drive all of you the fuck out of that country. All right. Stefan says, I'm from Kingston and Chelsea in West London. Sorry to hear that. Originally, and I now live in Alanya, Cleopatra Beach, Turkish Riviera. Congratulations. I've been to Turkey. By the way, I bought this bracelet in Turkey at the Grand Bazaar. Love it. It was one of the countries I thought about moving to. I had my reasons why not, but yeah, absolutely. Congratulations on escaping, getting the fuck out of there. And if you guys want to do just that, because a lot of guys sitting at home going like, well, listen, I can't. I can't just, what do you mean? Wait, just you get up and go? No, 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 you don't get up and go. You do quite a few things that you first need to do. And that's where I described it right here, themillionmanproject.com. That's why I've created it. I described, first of all, what you're even looking for, because you don't know, like, what shitty women are, what shitty wives are, but you don't know how amazing, traditional women can be. So I dedicate some time just telling you what you've been missing without knowing it, right? Now, the second part of my course is actually quite brutal, because this is where I tell you, man, as I do a lot on my channel, is that you need to improve. You need to gain self-respect. You need to stop simping. You need to shape up. You need to dress better. You need to be more interesting. And I outline how. Now, after that, a lot of my course is about essentially how to wind down your life in your country and then pick the country that will be perfect for you. Thailand is for me, and then how to move and how to actually assimilate and what you need to know and what mistakes not to make, how to create friends in your country, and how to start dating and how to not start dating. Majority of guys who come here, they are awful at it. They show up here as simps. They end up dating the shittiest possible women that Thailand has to offer, which are in some cases even worse than American women. And their lives are shit. So it is what it is here. So check it out, themillionmanproject.com. But let's get back to the video.
But like, let's not tell women that they need to be these things for a man to like them, because it's not true.
It is not true. I mean, she is right. I know we're hating what she's saying, but she is fucking 100% right. Women don't have to do this anymore. And the reason they're acting this way is because no one's really requiring that as part of being in a relationship. You guys don't know what it fucking required as just to take a girl out anymore. Do you know how many dates I cancel even here? Um, because I see that the girl does not want to meet me where I want to meet her, or the time. Oh, I'm busy until next week. Oh, really? You're busy? Okay, goodbye. I don't date busy women. Oh, you don't want to meet me here because it's too far from you? Okay, goodbye. I hope you find another, guy like me, who's very rare here, at least in Thailand, closer to your home where you live. Yeah, goodbye. Because I have plenty of women like you around mine, right around my home here. So I absolutely know who's in charge. I know absolutely know who is the prize, and absolutely do not want a girl who is already being difficult. You don't want to meet me here. Your time. You don't like the place. You don't like the time. Fuck off. I will forget about you in a second because my phone is full of women trying to hook up with me. Outside, when I go outside, there's plenty of women who want to hook up with me. So the world has changed, but you guys are stuck. You guys are stuck with women like this because you allowed it, and now they're like, well, this is how it's supposed to be. Men are supposed to be submissive. They're supposed to do everything for you and provide helicopter rides to when I need to go somewhere. Yet I have to do absolutely fucking nothing, but I can absolutely embarrass you on social media and parade you around like a little bitch that you are, that this girl's husband is. You allowed it, so until by the way, all of this can stop, right? If this dude tomorrow says, listen, honey, yeah, you're gonna have to start cleaning and cooking and looking after, otherwise I'll just throw you right out. Now, it's too late for this guy because he's just gonna pay her out when he gets divorced. But it has to start somewhere. If you guys do what I do and basically tell women, oh, you don't want to dress up for the date and meet me at the place and time where I want, goodbye. Like, I know you guys over there don't have that many choices. So when you say goodbye to that girl, unlike me here, you don't have a bunch of other women you can hook up with or go out with. But This is why being alone in America is much better than having to deal with women like this, right? Because essentially it's a subscription prostitute anyway. You anyway overspending. So you might as well come here, right?
Like a broke one. But it's not true for like men that actually respect themselves.
The gaslighting is excellent here, right? Essentially saying if you respect yourself, then you need to accept a useless woman and a wife who doesn't cook and clean and all that stuff, right? And give her money, and yet still do everything for her. That is the man. Listen, she knows that the guy has no respect for himself. You know why she knows? Because she has no respect for him either. If she had some respect for him, well, she would be taking care of his house and his kids and himself, and she wouldn't be humiliating him on social media, right? But the fact she knows the guy has no self-respect, but she'll gaslight 2 million women watching this video anyway, and they will buy it. And then you guys are gonna have to go out with them, right?
Okay? You can be whoever you want. You can be as loud as you want. You can be as iconic as you want. You can be as annoying as you want.
She literally admits to being not only a useless wife, but just a shitty human being, right? She goes like, I'm annoying. Yeah, I'm annoying. I don't fucking do shit and I'm annoying. And girls, you can still do that because dudes like my husband are fucking so desperate, have so little self-respect and self-esteem. They'll still give you all of this money and attention and all that stuff. And she is right. I can't emphasize this enough. I'm not making fun of her. I'm saying how right she is with almost every word that she says. You understand that, right?
And there's still a man who's
Yeah.
probably sitting outside the store, would wait on me hand and foot.
She is right again. There's going to be a line of simps lined up as they always are, including here in Thailand when they show up, that will be willing to take completely useless girl because she is pretty. That's it. It used to be like she has to be pretty, but she also has to cook and clean, give you massages, be not be annoying, right? That was a requirement, right? Pretty was just like, I will talk to you, I will start talking to you so you can tell me more about yourself if you're pretty. Now that's it. There's no more requirements that you guys in America or Europe have for a girl. She just needs to be pretty and you're willing to give her everything just for that. Now, this is going to end when we have AI girlfriends and, humanoid sex robots. Like, obviously, no one wants that anymore after that, but it's going to be a minute until that is true.
Okay? Be iconic. My biggest contribution to society.
All right. I know this whole thing about iconic, right? I don't know what the fuck this sort of tiny little brain is there. But guys, this video should be played for you every morning as you wake up and go out there into the world of nothing but women like that, only uglier most of the time. And you need to think, do you want to be a part of that? Do you want the rest of your life to be spent with this? Do you want your future wife to be like this again, only uglier and probably even more annoying? You ask yourself, and the only answer, if you're being honest with yourself, is why would you do that when you can come to another country and still be able to keep your balls, keep your self-esteem, if you build your self-esteem, and find a girl who would actually be a good wife and cook and clean and give you massage. Like, by the way, foreign guys come here, and then they like, dude, there's all this, very affordable massage. You can get a foot massage for like $7 for an hour. Have you tried it? I'm like, dude, I have not gone to like a massage place pretty much ever. You know who I get massages from? The women in my life. Like, even though I don't have like a serious girlfriend or wife, I'm dating several women, casually, and they give me the massages, and they're best at it because I've taught them how to give me a good massage, and they want to give it to me not because I'm paying as a service. They want to do it. That's the best massage, when a girl wants to do it. That's the best sex, right? That's the best wives, when they want to do it. So that's just the reality here. Why would you not want that? Let me see. Okay, so Mr. R says he's the black guy that. Oh, okay, so he's a guy because you said Shannon and it sounds like a girly name. Um, Yeah, no, listen, and this is why I also advocate for men's rights, because what's happening in America and other Western countries, the way that, again, simp congressmen have created is just anti-men. The one of the videos that pinned on my TikTok profile is exactly that: 10 top anti-men laws in America. Do you think the conflict between Cambodia and Thailand will get worse? I can't believe some of the nicest two cultures are at it. Yeah, so we do have a bit of a war going on, unfortunately, here in Thailand with our neighbor, which I also like, and most people do, Cambodia. Honestly, if I wasn't living in Thailand, if I ever have to move somewhere, it would probably Cambodia would be very high on my list. I like Cambodian women actually a lot, and they're great people. They have a horrible past, but yeah. So listen, I don't think Thailand is by far has a better military. So I don't think Cambodia wants this war at all. And so I think kind of Thailand is in charge of this, and it's in their best interest not to escalate this anymore, because Thailand, first of all, lives off of a lot of income of Thailand is tourism, right? And it's already kind of, so the last thing Thailand wants people to know is, when they trying to Google, the vacation in Thailand, it would be like U.S. Embassy advisory. It's a war zone, right? Like you don't want that, right? So, and secondly, it is Thailand. We have, a reputation of being peaceful culture, right? It's a Buddhist country. It's always been welcome. It's called the land of smiles. So you can be in at war and not suffer from having all of that reputation go away. So my bet is on the fact that it's probably not going to escalate, because Thailand cannot afford it, and Cambodia cannot afford to be at war in Thailand. I mean, the Thai military is so much more powerful than it's literally like a 5-year-old child trying to kick ass of fucking a Hulk, right? So yeah, so that's the last. So I'm hoping that this is gonna de-escalate. Um, all right, back to the useless wife. I don't hate what she's saying. I fully expected. One of my standards as having a girlfriend is a very low bar. Just know when to shut the fuck up and pass the remote. Yeah, but most women can't even pass that low standard. I keep talking about this video that I made that was kind of controversial with the audience, but I said, listen, if you have a girlfriend, or a wife, or if you're thinking about the girl that you want to date, first of all, ask yourself, can she be a better companion than your dog or a dog? Okay, golden retriever, and people say, well, I can't believe you're comparing women to dogs. And I say, I'm not comparing them to dogs. I'm not comparing, first of all, I'm not comparing Thai women to dogs, but I'm only comparing Western women to dogs. And honestly, that's not even fair to dogs. I mean, have you ever walked into a household with your buddy that has a living girlfriend or wife? Do you notice how much faster the dog gets to the door and how much happier the dog is? If the wife even shows up. I've seen like the wife on the fucking phone in the other room, not cooking, Yeah, whatever. My husband's home. Okay, I gotta get off the phone and fucking, I had a good time until he showed up. You know what I mean? But the dog goes like, I can't believe he's home. Most Western women cannot compete with dogs. So the golden retriever should be the standard, and a lot of times women cannot compete. The downside for her is this: every single female will now go after her man. So this will backfire big time for her. He will win in the long run. No, he already lost. He already lost. I mean, if when a man being humiliated in public by his woman, he's already lost. When he reserves to hiring a prostitute to live with him and have children with, he already lost, right? When all other men know what his wife looks like naked, he already lost. So no, he will never win. He's good. He's done. He's done. Yes, a lot of women will go after him because they can basically say, oh, all you have to do for him to pay, because all he value, obviously there's nothing that she has nothing to offer to him as a woman except for her beauty. And first of all, that's obviously going down. I think she's in her 30s now. So you're right. Other women know, like, oh, I'm younger and more beautiful than her, so I can compete. And you know what? I mean, look at Donald Trump. That happened to his wives they aged out, he picked a new one. He aged out, he picked a new one. Yeah, that's probably what's coming here as well. And that's why I said earlier, he's probably cheating either with women who are more beautiful than her, or the women who are less useless than her, right? That actually might like him for he is. He might, he's probably a nice guy, by the way. It doesn't seem like he's a jerk. So you're right. But she doesn't give a shit because, again, she's not there for him. She's there for the money, and she already won because she got it. And even if he decides to divorce her, I mean, gee, she'll probably find another sucker to do it, just like Jeff Bezos' wife, right? She already cleaned out another rich guy, and she found a new sucker, which Jeff is, and there you go. You should put in that in your program as required homework. Yes, chats don't pay. Well, chats don't pay. Yeah, you're right. The chats don't pay, but they're not looking for wives either, right? So that's not really the same situation. Clap and dash chats. Yeah, that happens all the time. Just the other day I saw a very nice Thai girl with a chat, and I'm like, she doesn't know what's coming, but also he doesn't know what's coming, right? They all both gonna fuck each other over in more ways than one, and this is gonna be beautiful. I love to see that happening to people, especially to men who are simps. Like I I want every simp to be punished for their behavior, because essentially men who are simps, which again is like 80 or 90% of Western men, they've created this situation where the rest of us who have some standards still, who have some self-esteem and self-respect, essentially have to move out. Just move out. Now don't get me wrong, this is literally one of the best things I've done for myself, is to just move to Thailand, away from America, for many other reasons, except besides the fact that I just enjoy being away from women like that, and yet surrounded by amazing feminine and submissive women here in Southeast Asia. But at the end of the day, we need to fight simps. We need to educate them, we need to shame them, we need to call them out, because otherwise this shit will continue and will never stop. Thank God for Southeast Asia. Thank God for South America and a few other countries in Europe that can actually give us a chance to be around submissive and traditional women and have choices. Like I said it many times, guys, that at the end of the day, when I came here to look for a wife, I realized that when you have so many choices, and an amazing lifestyle you can live here, you don't necessarily want a wife anymore, and the standards for the wife goes through the roof, right? For now, I chose not to pursue a serious relationship. If one comes along, and once in a while I see a girl, I actually went out on a date last week with a girl who was possibly wife material, didn't work out. But generally speaking, my lifestyle of just casually dating several women who are absolutely amazing to me, each and single one of them, is unbelievable. And I might just keep that lifestyle for a while, or maybe even forever. That's what happens when you come to these countries where women are absolutely, and to ignore women like that because they're still here and they're hunting for you. Western women and westernized Thai women. Yesterday, I was at a restaurant, a lounge with live music, and there was a actually very good-looking girl who had a booty. My problem is that because I've dated black women for over a decade now, a lot of these Thai women who are beautiful don't have a booty, and a lot of guys don't mind that, which is fine. But I do. I need some curves. So I saw a Thai girl who was very good-looking and had a booty. And, she actually did not seem like a westernized hoe, which a lot of them turn into. And I was like, let me ask her out, let me ask her out. And then I thought, well, wait a second. She greeted me in English, right? She greeted me in English. She works with a lot of foreigners here in this lounge. Not worth it. Not worth. I mean, yes, by the way, if I ask her for a number, if you're an employee, you can give your number out in front of the entire staff. That is not frowned upon at all. So I thought, well, let me get her number. But then I was like, what's going to happen is I'm going to get her number. She's going to give it to me. We're going to talk. By the way, she might just ghost me at some point also because of whatever stupid shit, because she's westernized. Oh yeah, we might go on a date, or she once again was going to say, well, it's too far, I'm too busy, whatever. The shit that other men tolerated because she probably dated a few foreigners already and deals with foreigners. Um, and then she's either going to be late to the date, which means I'm going to leave. I don't wait for more than 10 minutes on a date, or just. So I was like, all this, like the fact that she speaks English and she works with a lot of foreigners already tells me that it's just not worth my time. And I didn't waste my time. You know what I mean? I didn't waste my time. Um, so there's another actually waitress there who did not speak any English. I spoke Thai with her. And she actually specifically came back to me just to talk. And, she just asked little questions here and there. And I hate to say this, like she was definitely a potential wife material, but she just wasn't as cute as I would want my future wife to be. And and she works at a place where she won't be available in the evening times. And I'm not gonna do what a lot of foreigners do, which buy them out. They come here, they meet a girl, and then they realize why she works in the evening time. I can never take her out. So what they do is they're like, listen, I'm going to pay all of your bills, quit your job, just date me, that's your job, right? And they buy these women and they turn them into hoes. Essentially, they set a bad example for their friends, whatever they're going to say about it on social media. And of course they continue to be pathetic simps and losers. So except for that, now they infected yet another good Thai girl here. Mr. Ross says, I can only date women that excite the hell out of me. I agree. Well, sexually. But generally speaking, I don't really, outside of the bedroom, a girl doesn't need to be exciting. I will provide the excitement. I like boring women. I like women who like to just sit there and stare at me and admire me and be submissive and quiet. That's what I like. Boring women are great. Exciting women are never good. And that, by the way, I just don't need entertainment from my partner. I don't need philosophical conversations to discuss political topics like the conflict between Thailand and Cambodia. I have male friends to do that with. So I love boring women. Mr. R says, I have to find something physically. Yeah. So that's exciting physically. It can be a toe, I buy a sexy toe. Plus, I'm really big on communication. Yeah, communication is a must. But okay, I think we're on the same page here. So, all right, guys, listen. Uh, I will not be going live and maybe even posting videos for the next few days because I am going for a hair transplant surgery tomorrow. Obviously it's going to last for like 10 or 12 hours. This is my second one, and knowing how it went the first time, and I actually, some of my friends have had this surgery as well. um, uh, I don't know how long it's going to recover. My bet is that probably by Wednesday or Thursday I'll be able to live stream again. It's going to depend how bloated and bloody my face is still going to be by then. So I'm gonna be out for a little bit. Let me ask you just one more quick question. Mr. R says, you should cut a little bit of slack on being late, bro. It's Bangkok. I already did. So I said, but here's the thing. I understand it's Bangkok, but don't forget, let's not simp here, Mr. R, right? It's Bangkok. I know it, but so does the girl. The other day, a girl was 45 minutes late, and I left after 15 minutes. Um, because I told her, I said, listen, you drive a motorbike, so the motorbikes know exactly how much time it's going to go around the cars, because so their estimated time of arrival can be very predictable, right? And she knows that it's traffic, and she knew it was raining. So it's not traffic is just not a fucking excuse, because everybody knows it. It's not a fucking secret that Bangkok has traffic. So if you know it's traffic and you know you're meeting a good man, that's very rare. Well, bitch, show up half an hour early. How about that? Don't even try to be on time. Show up early. But no, she left her house, from what I understand, 15 minutes before meeting me, and her place is definitely, obviously, an hour away if you're even riding a motorbike through the rain and traffic. So no excuse. I'm not going to cut her slack. Secondly, okay, sometimes people do run late. That's okay. But you got to let me know ahead of time. You can't have me leave my house. And again, I meet these women within 10-minute distance from me, right? So I leave my house 10, 15 minutes before we meet. So if you didn't let me know that you're running late 15 minutes before the date, you're basically standing me up. Now, if you say, listen, man, I'm really sorry. my mother, she's sick and I had to talk her through some emergency or whatever. So I'm leaving now, so don't leave just yet. If you don't mind, let me let you know when I'm 10 minutes away, and then you can leave your place. That way you don't waste your time, and I will already be guaranteed to be there. What When women do that and they keep you updated, sometimes if they're using a taxi or Grab or Uber service, they will message you the shareable URL, so you know exactly where they're at and when you leave the house. That's perfectly fine. But not letting me know ahead of time and not planning it well, obviously, absolutely fucking not. I'm not gonna give them any slack, because otherwise I'm the simp, just like her husband, right? And I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, I appreciate it. I'm definitely I'm not looking forward to it, but I know that's not going to be the worst thing. Yeah, I'll be a little bit out of it for a few days. I'll have to shave my head, by the way. Say goodbye to this. But at the end of the day, I know that by the end of this year, I'm going to have the full set of hair again, which will never fall off. So, and I already have the budget for it. Apparently, I overpaid taxes in America, and I not only I got my tax return to cover this procedure, I now retroactively covered my African and Egypt trip, and I spent quite a few money and flew first class and all of that stuff, and stayed in a luxury condo. So thank you, U.S. government, for giving me some of my money back, since I don't even live there anymore. All right, guys. It was nice hanging out with you. Have a great the beginning of your week. I will reappear when I am presentable. I will have to wear my hat or beanie or whatever, and as soon as my face is not like looking like I got in a bar fight the night before and lost, I will get in here and tell you all about the surgery. But I kind of know what to expect. I know, again, it's going to be a little tough, but the results are going to be worth it. So, all right, guys, have a good the rest of your Sunday, right? It's Sunday over there. And no, it's still Saturday. So happy upcoming Sunday. We're like halfway through here with our Sunday. And then I will see you probably Wednesday or Thursday. Okay, peace. If you want to ditch modern women and move abroad for more traditional relationships, go to themillionmanproject.com, take my most comprehensive course, and change your life.